It is a raw day in Northern California. It's 53 degrees. You can see the wind, cloudy skies, flood of rain. Chiefs won the toss. They deferred. Raiders will receive. And so to kick off will be Ryan Suckup, number 9 so far in touchbacks in the NFL. And deep back will be Mike Goodson for the Oakland Raiders. Raiders have lost, as we said, 6 consecutive games. And here comes Kansas City's kickoff. And Goodson, the ex-Carolina Panther, will leave it in the end zone. It'll be a touchback, and here we go now with the Oakland offense. There's been a bit of a pregame story here as we see Carson Palmer coming out and starting today.
Yeah, it's been reported by the call for Oakland Raiders. They were saying that Carson Palmer is battling some flu-like symptoms, a bit under the weather, and that flu bug is spreading through the football team.
He is closing in on a 4,000-yard passing season, but staggering a bit, and Salmon went over this with 9 picks in the last 6 games. Here he is, 1st and 10 from his own 20-yard line. McFadden slipping on the turf. Tom Bahali was right there. It's a loss of a yard to go back to the 19-yard line. Let's finish off the lineups. Offensive line didn't allow a pressure against the Broncos last week. Left tackle Jared Valdir, one of the reasons why, one of the best in the AFC. And the tight end is Brandon Myers. Leads the Raiders with 70 receptions. That's the most by a Raider tight end since Todd Christensen back in 1986. The Raiders, by the way, number 1 in the NFL in yards after catch. It is 2nd down and 11.
Wide 80.
McFadden again, who tweaked a bad ankle last week. Tried to dig for room. It's Seiler knocking him out of bounds. The linebacker, Brandon Seiler. And that is a gain of about a yard. Let's now go to the defensive line for the Chiefs. Tyson Jackson has provided more pressure on the quarterback in the last 4 games than he had in the previous 13. Raider quarterback Carson Palmer told us earlier this week that Houston and Holly are the second best rushing duo in the NFL in terms of pressure on the quarterback. But Derek Johnson anchors the defense, another 100-yard tackle season. We have in the secondary Kendrick Lewis returning after missing last week with an injury in the secondary. 3rd down and 10. And the Chiefs have 5 in the secondary. Palmer. And incomplete. He could have been going for about 3 different receivers, and 2 Chiefs are down, including Flowers at the 36, and Jaleel Brown, who now staggers up at about the 40.
Yeah, he collided with his own teammate, Brandon Flowers, who's holding one of his legs. This pass was intended for Denarius Moore over the middle of the field, and 2 Chiefs defenders collided into one another.
We have an injury timeout, 13:43 early in the game. The collision right there. The wreckage in the wake. Injury timeout.
As we return to Oakland, you can see they're helping Brandon Flowers off the field. Collided with Jaleel Brown. But we'll be able to show you a play where the pass was intended for Darius Hayward-Bay, who never even went for the football, Kevin.
Shane Leckler is going to punt 3 and out. Here's the 7-time Pro Bowler. Deep back is Javier Arenas inside the 40-yard line for the Kansas City Chiefs. Negligible wind inside the stadium today. This is Arenas from the 40-yard line and from behind, taken down. Nice special teams performance. A good tackle made right there. Taiwan Jones, 41-yard punt, 1-yard return.
Let's go back to the previous play. We said the pass was intended for Darius Hayward-Bay. Freeze it right there. Look, he doesn't go for the football. Wide receivers have to contest and attack the football when it's in the air. He allows it to sail through. You see the collision in which Brandon Flowers was injured on the play. But going back to talking about Darius Hayward-Bay, contest for the football when your quarterback gives you the opportunity.
Brady Quinn with the 1st and 10, and here is Jamal Charles. A little different result in the first handoff now. Houston makes the stop. Last week he went 80 yards on the first carry against the Cleveland Browns. And here's a look at Brady Quinn for the Kansas City Chiefs. AFC Player of the Week 2 weeks ago after the win over Carolina. Makes his 4th consecutive start today.
Well, the goal here for Brady Quinn, get his team into the end zone. Something that the Kansas City Chiefs have struggled to do so all season long.
Quinn on 2nd and 10. No breathing space. Flag is down. Desmond Bryant comes right up the middle and brings him down. It's a sack. It's a loss of 6 on the play. And back to the 35.
Wow.
Here's Tony Corrente, who is our referee this afternoon.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask, offense number 71. This penalty has been declined. The result for the play, 3rd down.
Rookie left guard out of Illinois, Jeff Allen.
This Kansas City Chiefs offense, over the last 2 games, they've been able to score touchdowns on their opening drive. Well, in the previous 28 games, as you can see right there in the middle of your screen, they caught Allen holding on to the face mask. On their previous 28 games, they have not been able to score on the opening drives, but they have been able to do so the last 2 weeks.
It's 3rd and 16. They need the Raider 49. Around the end, Carter. Outside it goes, withdrawn and brought down on the play by Mike Mitchell on a gain of 2. And so the Chiefs, like the Raiders before them, have got a punt on their first possession. 3 and out.
Penalties hurt. It knocks you out of position. Quinn does a good job of getting rid of the ball quickly to Drone, but watch the swarming defenders. Mitchell, good angle, good close, good pursuit of the ball.
There's Colquitt on the left and Arias Moore on the right. Colquitt last week in Cleveland had a punt returned on him, and that special teams 93 yards by rookie Travis Benjamin of the Browns. Here is Moore. He's out of Tennessee. He's going to let it bounce, and it could be beautifully placed for the Chiefs, and it is. Williams jumping on it. 60-yard, well-placed punt with a terrific bounce and roll. No score early in the Bay Area, 11:43.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Zero Dark 30, in theaters January. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
Remember that Flowers was out the last defensive series for the Chiefs, and now he is still out, and taking his place is Jaleel Brown. Usually the nickel, but he's in there right now at the corner. And they put Denarius Moore over there after the Chiefs 3 and out. A good roll on a Colquitt punt from the 3. Marooned is Carson Palmer. 1st and 10. With a nice tackle there by the leading tackler. That's Derrick Johnson. It's a gain of 2 by the running back, Darren McFadden, out to the 5.
Well, Romeo Crennel and the Kansas City Chiefs, they talked about wanting to get off to a fast start, and so did Dennis Allen and the Oakland Raiders. Now, this Raiders offense, they haven't scored a touchdown in the first quarter in 10 straight games. So they've struggled to really be able to put points on the board early on, as Brady Quinn and the Chiefs have done so. Maybe one of the quarterbacks can lend some offense to this game today.
2nd down and 8, and they go outside. Marcel Reese, and hit by the aforementioned Brown, who's out to about the 11. There's a flag and a 6-yard gain. Looks like a horse collar there by Brown, and we just got the word on Flowers, by the way, a chest injury. They don't know if he'll return this afternoon. And some breathing space now for the Raider offense.
Yes, they had the Raiders pinned close to their own end zone. There you see, by the back, see on the name, and then roll on the back of the legs. That's horse collar every single day of the week. Jaleel Brown knows better. He's doing his best to get the guy on the ground, but you've got to come up and have a form tackle. And that constitutes horse collar, and it's illegal.
We have a couple tight ends, 1st and 10 for the Raiders at their own 26. And McFadden finding daylight and on the move into the secondary and brought down by Brown, a gallop of 15 to the 41.
Wow. If you can get Darren McFadden off to a great start in this ball game, as he'll come off the left side of the offensive line. Look, they peel here, he gets to the outside. Just excellent play. Really good move. Good blocking out front on the left side of that offensive line. Mike Brazel getting out in front. You can get Darren McFadden out on the edge of the defense. He can have a huge day here against the Chiefs.
Goodson in the backfield now. 1st and 10 for quarterback Carson Palmer. And then there's Benjamin across pushed away. Looked like Houston was there with a hit, as was 56. You see right there another tackle made by Derek Johnson. There was no gain. He stays at the 41-yard line. And a look at first-year head coach Dennis Allen. You can see they've had a lot of different coaches since 2003.
Yeah, Dennis Allen taking the long-term view and says, hey, we want to acquire players who love football, who is willing to work hard and would put team first. He said they have to have a change of culture here with the Oakland Raiders. That's going to take some time doing.
Nico Thorpe has come in as an extra defensive back there, number 38. Second down and 10 for the Raiders. They've been deflected. Nice play. Looked like Tyson Hartman, who's in there as well. He was starting for the injured Lewis last week. It was his first start last week. He comes off the bench today.
Right now, Carson Palmer, 1 of 3. Attempting to get the ball over to Darius Hayward-Bay. You can see Jaleel Brown coming over to knock Hayward-Bay off the ball. You know, Carson Palmer talked about it, says, hey, I'm going to give my wide receivers an opportunity to catch the ball. He's going to try to squeeze it into some tight windows, one of the reasons why he's had the 14 interceptions.
Carson Palmer on third down and 10 into the dime, and incomplete. Looking like maybe Jaleel Brown had a chance at it. They were looking for the rookie undrafted out of Temple, Rod Streeter, and they got a punt once again, and they waste that 15-yard run by McFadden.
Not a good start. Look at the protection, breaks down a little. You force Palmer to move his feet. That one nearly intercepted by Jaleel Brown, undercutting the route. Really had himself a pick, but good pressure in the face of Carson Palmer.
Here's Leckler to let this one fly. Now in his 13th season out of Texas A&M, Javier Arenas watches it bouncing back of him and out of the end zone on a 59-yard punt. Well, relying on Jamal Charles. He's one of the top rushers in the NFL, number 5. Back out there for the Chiefs on their second possession in Oakland today. Well, we're back in Oakland. You vote, they play. Send your favorite players to the 2013 Pro Bowl in Hawaii. Vote online or with your mobile device at NFL.com/Pro Bowl or text Pro Bowl to my NFL. Voting ends tomorrow night. Raiders just had 6 plays punt. Hillis will begin it in the secondary in the offensive backfield for the Chiefs on this particular possession. First down and 10 from the 20-yard line for quarterback Brady Quinn. This is Peyton Hillis. Stood up at Bryant and devoured right there. No gain. They stay at the 20-yard line. Stevenson's going to start at that left tackle today because of a bad back for Albert, who is active, is suited up, but will not start. Mentioned before, receiver Dwayne Bowe is out with broken ribs, sustained last week, now on IR, so Dexter McCluster will start at that wide receiver position, and Terrence Copper will be the 3rd receiver today. Second down and 10. And they've got Charles in the backfield. And Jamal, not much up the middle right there. Looked at the bottom of the pile. They had Lamar Houston. It is a gain of 1. He's up to the 21-yard line. Let's take a look at the defense. Seymour is out again. 6th consecutive miss for him on that line. Des Bryant will start on the defensive line. Philip Wheeler has steadily gotten better, as Chiefs quarterback Brady Quinn told us last night. Rookie Miles Burris has replaced Orlando McClain most of the season. Done a good job. Secondary has allowed 2 consecutive 300-plus yard passes. Philip Adams makes his first start at quarterback today for the recently released Ron Bartell. Third down and 9. Quinn with a block from Stevenson. Incomplete. That was going for Devin Wiley. Across the middle, right in his hands. Dropped on the play. 3 and out for a second consecutive offensive possession.
Well, it's man-to-man across the board, and Wiley's got to be able to get open right there. He is open. The ball hits him. However, he loses balance as he's trying to shake loose from the defender. Didn't get his head around to find the football. That should have been an easy first down completion for Brady Quinn and company.
Second punt coming up now for Dustin Colquitt. As the Crips returned one last week for 38 yards. As they come in the middle there and almost deflected by Richard Gordon. Denarius Moore. Flag on the play. Catch was right around the 27-yard line on a 49-yard punt. Look at Tony Corrente. Which way? That way? This way? That way?
During the kick, holding, kicking team number 99. Oakland has exercised the option of adding the 10-yard penalty to the end of the kick. First down.
Edgar Jones leading the special teams and tackles for the Chiefs. leading the Raiders on offense. McFadden, 7:36 in the first. In remembrance of Al Davis, lit by a former Raider before every game, Phil Villapiano lit it before today.
180.
3 and out for the Chiefs. 1st and 10 here from the 40-yard line. This goes off to McFadden from quarterback Carson Palmer. He's brought down from behind after a gain of 3. Brandon Seiler brings him down at the 43-yard line.
Oh, we told you both offenses have struggled to get off to fast starts in recent weeks. You can see the 4 possessions combined for both teams. We had 4 punts. And the Kansas City Chiefs are minus 3 yards in total offense. Only 6 passing yards, surprisingly, for Carson Palmer and the Oakland Raiders.
Brandon Flowers back out there defensively for the Chiefs. Top of your screen at the quarterback. 2nd down and 7.
180.
McFadden. Out of bounds he goes. He was knocked out that time by Javier Arenas. It's a gain of 8 on the play and a 1st down to the Kansas City 49-yard line.
Well, we asked Dennis Allen, was Darren McFadden ready to carry the load? Look at him bounce on this play. He comes underneath the block by Marcel Reese, then bounces out on the edge. You can see Derek Johnson can't make the tackle there. It's not till he picks up the 1st down, makes it over to Javier Arenas. Nice little run from McFadden, off to a good start today.
He aggravated that ankle sprain he had earlier in the season last week against Denver.
6 carries, 28 yards so far today.
1st and 10, Denarius Moore. Arenas makes the stop. Quick catch, quick throw. Out to the 42-yard line of Kansas City on a gain of 7.
I think the key for Carson Palmer and company today has to be get Darren McFadden the ball early and often. Obviously, running the ball out of the backfield, he's a tremendous weapon as a check-down guy in the passing game. And remember, Brandon Myers, their leading receiver. The offense is going to go through the tight end and the runner, which is Darren McFadden. I think if they can get off to a good start, bodes well for the Raiders today.
6 in the secondary. 2nd down, long 3. And Goodson pulls ahead for a 1st down. Brought down by Brown, gain of 8. Right up the gut to the 35-yard line of Kansas City. Well, tomorrow on CBS, kick off your holiday with some Hawaiian fun. George Takei of Star Trek fame guest stars on a new Hawaii 5-0. It's tomorrow. It's only on CBS. 1st and 10 from the 35 of the Chiefs. Goodson's run for 8. McFadden has run for 8. Goodson again. Changing gears. Slithering his way. Brought down by Eric Berry. That's a 1st down run of 11 to the Kansas City 23.
Carson Palmer talked about their committee of running backs, not just Darren McFadden, but he feels that Mike Goodson, Marcel Reese, that all 3 provide a trio of backs that can really have a big game here today against this Kansas City Chiefs defense. Remember, when they last faced one another week 8, McFadden had a huge week. It's the last time they won a football game. They've lost 6 in a row since beating the Chiefs in week 8. But if they can run it like they're doing it so far here in the 1st quarter, they should have a good game.
Extra lineman here on the left side. That's Bergstrom. Here's a pitch out on 1st and 10. McFadden upended on the play by Flowers. A pick up of a yard to the 22.
Flowers getting the penetration right there to foil the Raiders' opportunity to run it with McFadden on that play. We already said that the Raiders have gone 10 consecutive games without scoring a touchdown in the 1st quarter. Today they talked about getting off to a good start. This is a pretty impressive drive. Now they have to be good down inside the red zone, not settle for a field goal, take some shots with the tight end down the seam, and the wide receivers have to continue to attack the football when Carson Palmer gives them an opportunity to make the catch.
6 in the secondary, 2nd down and 9. 7th play of the Raider drive. Palmer quickly outside. Goodson. Inside the 10, Berry with the tackle, a catch and run of 13. It's 1st and goal for the Oakland Raiders.
Now this is a smart play. Instead of putting one of the wide receivers flanked out to the wide side, go ahead and put your running back out there, Goodson, and then attack the defense. Look how he cuts back into the teeth of the defenders. And Eric Berry lays a lick, but you may as well go with a big body running back who can protect the football, run hard, get the tough yards attacking the defense, as opposed to having a wide receiver get the catch and run.
Spot!
McFadden back in, 1st and goal at the 9. Darren McFadden, chased by Arenas. Out of bounds on the play by Justin Houston. Turning the corner, picking up 5. Second and goal.
This is an impressive run. Take a look at it. Watch how he gets outside. If you can't contain him on the corner, Justin Houston, he beats around the edge. Then he's able to even elude Javier Arenas for a positive gain on the play. You can tell when Darren McFadden is healthy, he has these types of runs. He can win on the edge of NFL defenses. I think it's rare to have that kind of speed at this level.
Second and goal at the 4. McFadden to the 2. And a couple of guys falling on him right there, like Dontari Poe, the number 1 pick out of Memphis.
It's all about the run game on this possession. Even the screen over to Mike Goodson, that's an extended handoff, an extension of the run game. You just flip it over to him and get some blockers out in front and let him run into the teeth of the defense. So it goes on the stat book as a pass play, but let's look at it. The Raiders come in wanting to run the football and pound this Kansas City Chiefs defense.
Navajo. 180.
Gibson in the backfield, third and goal at the 2. Offers a block, deflected on the play by Houston. Got right in the line of sight. Good knock down by the linebacker, Justin Houston. Now it's 4th and goal. They'll settle for 3, and the Chiefs defense does their job keeping him out of the end zone.
Huge play by Houston. Watch him get into the throwing lane. Look, he's just sitting there, Kevin. And how does Carson Palmer not see him? Look, he's sitting right in his passing lane. Just a great play by Houston. They're going to force a field goal here. Their ability to get off the field after allowing the Raiders to march their way down to the goal line. I think it's a huge win for Kansas City.
Terrific season so far for Janikowski. A 20-yard try right here. 40 and inside. He is 49, now 50 consecutive field goals. A 20-yarder right there. They had it 1st and goal. They settle for 3. Well, the second-string running back, Mike Goodson, was very effective on that last scoring drive for the Oakland Raiders.
Both he and Darren McFadden teamed up to just pound the Chiefs' defense, but the Raiders have to settle for a field goal. Certainly wanted to get 6 out of it.
Here comes Josh Bellamy, a rookie from Louisville. He'll bring it out on the Janikowski kickoff, and he's out to the 20-yard line, and it's a 27-yard return.
Let's take a look at the cream of the crop in the AFC. How about the New England Patriots? 36 points a game. That leads the NFL in terms of their potent offense led by Tom Brady. And the Houston Texans, with a win over the Colts today, they improve on the 11 wins to now 12 wins, which is a franchise record. And they maintain their position as the number 1 seed in the AFC. And the Broncos, huge win on the road in Baltimore today. They've already clinched their division. So those are the best 3 teams in the AFC. That's the cream of the crop.
Went on 1st and 10. Down he goes. Sacked back at the 10. Coming through was Philip Wheeler, linebacker. Second sack, loss of 10.
Oh, the playoff picture in the AFC as Philip Wheeler makes a play. The Houston Texans clinch the AFC South Division, maintain that number 1 seed. Look at the Denver Broncos now 11-3. And New England plays later tonight against San Francisco. If they don't win that game, how about that? The Denver Broncos would move into that number 2 seed, even though they lost to New England earlier this year. And Baltimore, they're reeling right now, Kevin, at 9-5.
Just fired their offensive coordinator too, Cam Campbell. 2nd down and 20 after the sack. McCluster hit once, hit twice. Brought down by Wheeler, who just had the sack. Wheeler comes over from Indy. It's a gain of 5 in the play and just beyond the 15.
If you ask Dennis Allen, what does he want in a football team? He wants effort. He wants guys to hit and hustle. He wants players who love to play football. And I think a guy like Wheeler and Burris, they exemplify some of the characteristics that Dennis Allen wants to bring to this football team. Wheeler is a much improved player since coming over to the Oakland Raiders.
6 defensive backs, 3rd and 15. They need the 30. Underneath, Custer again, hit by Wheeler again. It's a pickup of 7. He's at the 21-yard line, shy of the 1st, and that may conclude, it probably will, our 1st quarter, which has seen a 20-yard field goal from Sebastian Janikowski. We'll return to Oakland after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS, the home to Super Bowl 47. We're going to start the second quarter with what will be the third consecutive punt for the Chiefs, the third consecutive 3-and-out. Gronkowski on a 20-yard field goal, the difference in the game, and the second quarter is underway. Denarius Moore, and did not touch it, and it gets a great bounce again, and it's down to the 15. Nice punt by Dustin Colquitt on a 58-yard punt. Nobody knows the game like a quarterback. Break down all the NFL action on NFL Monday QB tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. So here come the Raiders. They got a 1st and 10. A look at Romeo Crennel. A year ago this week, they fired Todd Haley, and Scott Pioli, the GM, gave his defensive coordinator the reins as the interim head coach. Watching is Carson Palmer, and the quarterback will be from Ohio State, Terrell Pryor. We thought he'd get a series of plays. He has it from his 15, and somebody moved early.
False start. Offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
He's suiting up for his third game, Solomon. He hasn't played this season. He hasn't played. In fact, he's been inactive for 11 games. He's taken 1 snap in 29 regular season games.
And on that 1 snap, it was a false start. It wasn't an irony because the first snap here today is a false start.
Now 1st and 15, back to the 10. Pryor, 3 years at Ohio State. And here comes Nick Fed. At the end of that run, Justin Houston brings him down, 16-yard line, and a pickup of 6. Here's the Pryor career at Ohio State, 31-4 as a starter there.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where he's a young man that put up big numbers at Ohio State, but winning big games at crucial moments. And many people in the NFL would have loved to have seen him really finish out his tenure there. This is the last draft choice of the late great Al Davis here with the Oakland Raiders.
There's a supplemental pick in the 3rd round. This is McFadden, hit and brought down on the play by Patoa Tua. It is a gain of 2 on the play to the 17. Now, we talked to the coach, Dennis Allen, about this earlier in the week, and he said the quarterback of the future here is Carson Palmer.
Yeah, he made it clear. He understands what's going on across the bay over in San Francisco with Colin Kaepernick, and Alex Smith did not want that to start here. He said there was no quarterback controversy. He said that Carson Palmer is our quarterback of the future. He said, but we have to take a look at Terrell Pryor. We see him every day in practice. He's not there yet, but they're going to give him a chance to show what he's got.
They're down in 7. Bellier with a nice block at the left tackle. Uncatchable for Hayward Bay. The nice coverage there by Brandon Flowers. It's 3-and-out, and the Raiders have got a punt.
How about that? Flowers sneaks back in the game. Appears to be 100%. And Pryor hadn't had a chance to complete a pass. He's 0 for 1, the early going. He's going to get more chances. Carson Palmer was really good when we talked to him about it. He says, look, I don't control playing time or how many reps I get, but when I do get the ball, I'm going to keep slinging it. I'm going to keep doing my thing. I think he's showing some tremendous leadership by allowing Terrell Pryor to play without any fuss here at Oakland.
And Rucker gets off a rocket back to the 18. Javier Rivas out of Alabama. He's brought down by reserve tight end Richard Gordon. He returns at 10, a 64-yard punt. Look at Pryor. We'll probably see some more of him, but the Chiefs are the 27. They get the ball back early second. Well, 23 teams still in contention for the Super Bowl trophy, and these 2 are not. Kansas City and Oakland. The Lombardi Trophy. First down and 10 from the 28. After 3-and-out. Charles hit. Boy, what great penetration on the play. A loss of 3 coming through. Looked to be Phillip Adams from the cornerback.
Well, this defense has been swarming. Dennis Allen's group has put pressure on Brady Quinn. They've tackled everything in sight. They've been stifling and smothering. 9 plays minus 1 yard total offense for this Kansas City Chiefs. And you can see knifing in is Adams at the feet of Jamal Charles. Let's hope Adams is okay. Right now he's down on the play. Got his head a little bit low there. Got to keep your head up as you're knifing in to make that tackle.
Making his first NFL start today, an injury timeout and 13:04 to play in the first half. Phillip Adams is walking off the field and going to the locker room. Brandon Ross signed off the Green Bay practice squad in September. Will take his place, 2nd down and 13. McCluster. Oh, and the guy that just replaced the injured Adams, Ross, makes the stop. There's no gain on the play. They're going to stay right at the 27-yard line.
The Raiders are all over it. You can see Adams on the play where he was injured. Watch his neck. See how it bends there as he puts his head on the leg of Jamal Charles? The neck bends in a way where you could tell he's not doing well. Even when he got up, he was very wobbly, and I think concussion protocols require you to take a further look and keep him out of the game, at least for now, for his own safety.
6 in the secondary, thrown in the backfield, 3rd and 13 for Quinn. And intercepted. Brady Quinn is picked off on the play by Hansen, who is brought down by Jamar Newsom. Quinn throws the pick. Joselio Hansen, the ex-Philadelphia Eagle, comes up with his 2nd interception of the year.
Okay, the job of the wide receivers against man coverage, you can see he's going to be coming here. You have to keep running against man coverage, sit down against zone. This is clearly man coverage. So you don't stop. You don't stop. You got to keep going. And that's what Brady Quinn was anticipating for the intended receiver, Dexter McCluster. Continue running across the middle of the field. He does it. Joselio Hansen gets the interception.
Carson Palmer back under center with the 1st and 10 from the Chiefs' 39. Another turnover for the Chiefs, minus 23 in the giveaway, takeaway. Going deep, he's got more! Incomplete coverage on the play by Javier Arenas. 2nd down and 10.
Well, Javier Arenas is one of those young players that really have impressed as of late. You're going to see play action, go ahead and roll it. It's going to be the post route here. Play action, deep post. Get it over the top if you're Carson Palmer. Allow the speed of Moore to get down the field and keep Javier Arenas in the hip pocket. Don't allow him to undercut the underthrown pass and break it up. Could have had a better throw from Carson Palmer.
2nd down and 10. Moore. And fumble on the play. He was hit on the play by Arenas. You see the man scramble at the 31-yard line.
It's going to be a fumble. If you're wondering whether or not he caught it, not only did he catch it, I thought he made a football move as well. Then the ball came out.
Let's see what direction they point.
Raiders looks like they recovered it.
With Khalif Barnes, he got it. Khalif Barnes, who's a guy who's caught a couple passes in his career, goes right for the ball, and Moore goes right to the sideline.
Moore had already walked off the field. He just knew he fumbled it. So, okay, see, there's the catch. Now here's the football move. So, see, there you go. Ball knocked out by Javier Arenas, who makes a wonderful defensive play on the 2nd consecutive down. I don't know why there's a discussion. I know we had a scrum. The ball had sort of changed hands down at the bottom of the pile.
You're going to correct the spot. The spot he recovered the football and then rolled on the ground. It'll be short of a 1st down. It'll be 3rd down and 1.
Well, he said he recovered it. Who? Who recovered it?
We saw Barnes, the starting right tackle, get the ball for Coach Dennis Allen, who's coaching with a heavy heart today. His father passing away last week. His dad played in the NFL. Grady, who's just 66, heart attack. And to bury his dad. It's been a tough time here in the holiday season for him. 3rd down and 1. Couple tight ends for Carson Palmer. And McFadden brought down. How about Eric Berry? Coming through, tripping him up, bringing it. He's also playing with, by the way, a cast on his hand. He makes the tackle.
That was a great play.
It sure was. Good penetration by Berry.
On 3rd and 1, he submarines the play and forces the field goal. You can't underestimate how great a play that was.
Here comes Sebastian Janikowski once again. He's had a couple of game-winning field goals this season. He's already knocked through a 20-yarder today. This will be a 50-yard try. Leckler with the hold, the 2-time Pro Bowler Condor with the long snap. Janikowski right down the middle from 50, and the lead grows to 6-0. 10:19 to play. An interception by Hansen. Raiders cash in for 3. Janikowski with another field goal, this one from 50, in passing Morton Anderson, as you can see, in distance. And this one is sent deep in the end zone and will be fair caught. Down it goes. with the catch. Bellamy coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Bill Collins. The latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report from our CBS studios in New York. Moments ago, during commercial, we had this exchange on the Raider sideline.
Darren McFadden on the 3rd-1 play didn't execute. Clearly, he and the coaching staff were at disagreements on what should have been done to better execute the play.
It's Charles on 1st and 10. Finds a seam, and he's off to the races. Giordano trying to cut the corner with him, and he does. Also brought down by Michael Huff. There is a flag back at the 17.
Holding, offense number 73. 10-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
Asamoah, guard.
Wow. If you're Romeo Cornell, he said coming in, their best thing on offense has been Jamal Charles. One cut and go. Take a look at it. It's the zone blocking, that stretch play. Look at him hit this hole, get to the 2nd level. And they're not able to get off blocks. He gets there, and boy, he torches defense, as we already said. 7 plays of 20 yards or more coming into today's game. He's a true home run hitter for the offense, and he clearly is needed. -4 yards total offense so far in this game today for the Kansas City Chiefs. They have more penalty yards than they do on offense.
Thrown in 1st and 20. Together they go. That is caught by Drone. Gain of 3. Hit by Wheeler among a couple on the play. Burris getting in there up to the 13.
This Chief offense certainly has struggled here today. They can't run it. Peyton Hill is getting stuffed at the line of scrimmage. They can't throw it because the wide receivers are dropping balls. And then when they do get it down the field, they're getting picked off. We've had 3 consecutive 3-and-outs, and on 4 previous possessions, 3 punts, 1 interception, and now they're facing 2nd and 17 against this Raiders defense.
Drone has it. Burris was on him along with Wheeler. It's a gain of 6 on the play, and as a Kansas City columnist from the Star wrote, he said, you know, the Chiefs are probably the most disappointing team in the NFL, picked by many to win the division. Our own Bill Cowher, Peter King of Sports Illustrated, you name it, most picked Kansas City in the West.
They really did. I had the Denver Broncos, I really did, but I thought Kansas City would be vying for a wild card spot in the AFC West division. There's no doubt about it. They've fallen way short of everyone's expectations.
These two teams have combined to 9, trying to convert 3rd today. 3rd and 11. They need the 30. Blocked by Drone, catch by Wiley, shy of the 1st. Hit on the play by Brandon Ross. He comes off the bench and takes the place of the starter, Phillip Adams. It's a gain of 6. The Chiefs have got a punt.
And it's another 3-and-out for this offense. The 4th one of the day. They continue to struggle. They're not able to pick up first downs. They're 0 for 5 so far in this game on 3rd down plays. Brady Quinn struggling to ignite this offense, and they're not getting anything out of the running game.
Colquitt. Had some favorable bounces on this natural grass here in Oakland this afternoon. Denarius Moore. Another good bounce. And finally grabbed that time by Josh Bellamy. Flag is down. Player down at the 35 and up, and that's Mike Mitchell. Flag on the play. Maybe on Kansas City. Let's see. Well, the hat's off. That means someone was out of bounds. Here in Oakland, Chiefs have had success here. They've won 8 of their last 9 games here, including a 28-0 win last year in Carson Palmer's first game for the Raiders.
Illegal touching on the kick. Offense number 11. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It's Bellamy. And so 7:29 to play in the 2nd quarter. Another try for the Raiders, who lead on 2 field goals. Chiefs punt it again. You see the 2 quarterbacks. The young Pryor on the right, who's already seen a series, and there's Carson Palmer, who's on the left. Carson, 10 years out of SC, 32-year-old quarterback, and like we said before, nearing 4,000 yards on the year. Through the air, here comes McFadden, sidestepping and driving his way. Toa brings him down. Nice blocking ahead and a pickup of 8 where there didn't seem to be a lot of room. He's up to the 33.
There'll be no arguments out of this run, Kevin. Take a look at it. Talk about putting one foot in the ground. Now watch him sense it and then attack right here. See how he gets vertical there? He didn't try to get outside. He went ahead and hit the hole. That's what coaches want to see from their running backs. You don't want to run laterally, press the line of scrimmage where positive yards are to be gained.
Second down and 2, and here once again comes McFadden. And running up the middle, it's like Dontari Poe got him. He struggled last week, did Poe in the middle. It's a gain of 3, and it is a Raider first down to the 36.
You talk about Carson Palmer being the one true thing that really has, I think, done well for this football team. The one thing they feel they do is they have their quarterback of the future. And now, they need to draft to build around this quarterback. Yet 10 years in the league, may not have much more time. But certainly he's the guy for right here and right now over the next several seasons.
Well, they do own $13 million next year, so he's in a pretty favorable position there. Goodson the fake, first down and 10, and time for Carson Palmer. Nice knock away that time. Boy, Barry's putting in a nice game. They were going for Brandon Myers, who has not caught one yet. Second down and 10.
Well, you talk about what's needed to rebuild both these teams. I think if you're Kansas City, they've got to go out and find a quarterback. That's priority number one. They got to get another wide receiver to go opposite of Dwayne Bowe, who's out of today's game. And if you're the Oakland Raiders, just make sure the players you do draft are good football players, just not great athletes. Cornerback, linebacker, wide receiver, high on their priority list.
Second down and 10. Goodson. And the Reed is jumping on him, but he can't bring him down. And he takes it out. Nice run by Goodson. Putting in a very good afternoon up to the 45. And he picks up 9. It's interesting, though, if you're a fan, Solomon, of either of these teams, and we watch Goodson once again, do you want your team to win when it could affect draft position? It just seems so many people are so infatuated with the draft directed right there. I mean, do you have mixed emotions?
Who in college football that you saw is going to walk in here and turn around the fate of both of these organizations with one pick?
Well, there's not a quarterback, that's certain.
Yeah, one pick isn't going to do it. It's really about the players you have improving, and it starts at the end of the year. It starts right now in these tough games where you really have to prove your mettle when you don't have, quote, a whole lot to play for. And that's what Dennis Allen is looking for. He's looking for guys who've got great energy, great hustle, and maybe things aren't so rosy. They still love playing the game of football in the month of December when you're not going to the playoffs and come out and compete.
Well, they're not highly thought of. The AP ranks their power rankings, and here's a 3rd and 1 with the quarterback, Palmer. The AP has a power ranking in the NFL. These two teams are tied for 30th.
Yeah, right near the bottom of the league.
Yep.
5 wins between them so far this year. But I love Dennis Allen's approach. You can tell he's talked about the change of culture. He said we have to go from acquiring the best athletes to acquiring the best football players who are selfless and those who love the game. Clearly, there's going to be some big changes on this roster from 2012 to a team we see here in Oakland in 2013.
McFadden back in there, first down and 10. He runs it up. Looks like Tyson Jackson's on his back. It's a gain of 3.
Oh, there's been drafters' remorse here in Oakland. 24, they take Robert Galley with the 2nd overall pick. The next pick is Larry Fitzgerald. You whiff on him. And then 1 year later, they go Fabian Washington with the 23rd overall pick. And they miss on Aaron Rodgers, who ends up in Green Bay. And, of course, this team continues to do it. In 2007, they go Jamarcus Russell with the 1st overall selection when they could have had Calvin Johnson. He goes with the next pick to the Detroit Lions. That's drafters' remorse. They've got to improve what they do on draft day here in Oakland.
2nd and 7, and here is Myers, their leading receiver, and it was a nice hit and knockdown right there. It's a gain of 6 on the play. And this season was one of big change for the Raiders on the field and the front office. More change expected. We know Shane Leckler is in the final year of his contract. Perhaps Richard Seymour will be gone. There's a lot of money to retain those guys, and with so many needs to fill, you can just sense that they're probably going in another direction.
And as good as Shane Leckler is, in my mind, the best punter in all of football, can they afford to spend that kind of money on a punter when it doesn't affect their wins and losses at this current point?
It's a 3rd and 6. Wide Streeter, he's got the first down. Slips and slides his way. Hartman brings him down. Flowers hit him first. It's a gain of 10 on 3rd and 6. They get to the Kansas City 39.
Carson Palmer right now has his offense on the move, Kevin. And they've scored on their last 2 possessions, and now for the 3rd consecutive possession, they're getting some traction, and they're moving toward the goal line, getting themselves into scoring position. And since he's come back into the game with Terrell Pryor, he's got the offense going, so clearly didn't disrupt his rhythm at all.
It is a first down, 9th play of the drive from the Chiefs 39. McFadden trying to cut the corner. And then it was a nice knockout there by Derek Johnson. It's a gain of a yard in the play. And to show you the change already with the Raiders, and the Raiders have already gotten rid of half of last season's Week 17 roster. 26 players from that roster gone.
And a recent first-round pick and middle linebacker Rolando McClain, suspended by his head coach Dennis Allen. Many people don't expect him to be back next year. And there could be some other high-priced players that you already mentioned who won't be back as well.
It's a 2nd down and 9, and Goodson has had a good day. Bergstrom with a nice block. They turn the corner. Blocked by the wide receiver. Outside Kreiner. It is a gain of 12.
Bergstrom, the 3rd-round pick from Utah.
Holding, offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty, repeat, 2nd down.
That's the kid we're bragging on, the 3rd-round rookie.
And yeah, clearly he was the guy that had the hole. You're going to see him right here at the tackle position. Right there. See, he gets his hands outside working against Tambahali right there. You can see there was a pull and a tug. Then he released it, but not before being flagged on the play. Move your feet. Keep your hands in position.
Raiders come into today having lost 6 consecutive games. Their longest losing streak since 2007. Lost 10 days ago, Thursday. Right here, you've been working it for the NFL Network, 26-13. There's a 2nd down and 19. We've reached the 2-minute warning. Janikowski's nailed 2 from 20 and 50. 2-minute warning. We have a 2nd and 19 here for the Raiders. Assortment of receivers. Kansas City with 6 in the secondary. They've had the dime secondary scheme a good part of the season. Outside. And that is a fumble, maybe, or nope, they call it incomplete. There's Barry again to vacuum it in. Ooh. Incomplete pass to the near side. It'll be 3rd and 19.
How about Carson Palmer? He squeezes this one in a tight window, trusting Marcel Reese. This is what Carson Palmer does, I think, very well. He's a veteran quarterback. He trusts that Reese is going to come down with the ball. You can see it's dislodged on a hit by Flowers. You know, Palmer's a veteran quarterback. And how good is he? At the end of the first half, in the final 2 minutes, he's led them to scores at the end of the first half 10 times so far this year. 6 touchdowns, 4 field goals. That's what veteran leadership at the quarterback position will give you.
7 defensive backs for the Chiefs. 3rd and 19 for Carson Palmer. Underneath he goes. McFadden on the move. With a beat on him is Arenas. He's down to the 33. He's 4 yards shy of the first, but they do get into field goal range on a gain of 15.
They're in field goal range. They're going to bring out Sebastian Janikowski. They may even go for it as you see the pass over to Darren McFadden. If you're the Raiders, take a timeout, set it up, decide what you want to do on 4th and 4.
That's their first. 1:38 to play in the first half. Back in the Bay Area, coming up in the Verizon Halftime Report. Join JB, Dan, Shannon Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowher for the latest NFL scores, news, and highlights. That's all coming up from our CBS studios in New York on the Verizon Halftime Report. This game is being telecast here in the Bay Area. They got an extension and sold enough to have it televised. And here is Janikowski. He's already kicked field goals of 20 and 50. They'll try to extend the lead here. This is a 51-yard drive by Sebastian. And he did not get it. Only his 3rd miss of the season. And there is no wind inside the stadium today. He does not get it.
You know, he's so good right around 50 yards or in. This one he pushed. That I would have allowed him to kick it as well and not have gone for it on 4th and 4. They took the timeout to make the decision decided they were going to allow Sebastian Janikowski to attempt the field goal, try to go up 9-0 in the ball game. I think it was the right call strategically to allow him to kick it. Even though he missed the call, still agree with Dennis Allen.
Well, the Chiefs, the good news for them is they take over at their own 41. The bad news is this is their deepest penetration of the afternoon. 1st and 10. In pressure from Billikidi. And incomplete. McCluster was in his sights. Henson was defending. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
This offense going nowhere fast. Their first 5 possessions of the game. 4 punts, 1 interception. Only 3 offensive plays on all 5 possessions. So it's 3 and out and punt or 3 and out interception. That's not good. They're going backwards right now. This offense for the Chiefs really struggling today.
And how about this? There's Brian Dable, who is the offensive coordinator. They're going up against a defense that has allowed the most points of any other team in the NFL, the Raiders. 2nd down and 10. Quick slant, that's caught. Grabbed on the play by Newsome. It is a gain of 6. He is a year out of Central Florida. Spent a good portion of the year on the practice squad.
Well, keep in mind, this team is playing without Dwayne Bowe, their best weapon at the wide receiver position, as you talked about Newsome. So they are playing a little short-handed. But boy, you got to be able to make some plays against this Raider defense.
Here's a 3rd and 4. Winston with the block at the right tackle, thrown in back of the receiver, incomplete with the coverage by Ross. They were looking once again for Jamar Newsome. So now it is 4th down. They got a punt once again.
And this is not a bad throw from Brady Quinn. Remember, Newsome is a guy that hadn't had a lot of time to play. Back shoulder, got to make the catch. And you've got to break that route off at the depth where the quarterback expects you to be able to do it. I think when you lose a player like Dwayne Bowe, your #1 receiver, you also lose the experience that he has with your quarterbacks working with him great majority of the time in practice.
Oakland. Moore back at the 9 with the fair catch on a 44-yard boot.
Now you keep saying 3 and out punt for the Kansas City Chiefs offense. As we take a look at Carson Palmer coming back into the ball game.
There's the miss by Janikowski, and there's the target range for him, about the 42. He's kicked a bunch, and he's been known at the end of halves to really tee it up and get one deep. You know, the one thing about the Raiders is during the 6-game losing streak, they've been outscored by 18 points a game. And here they are with a 6-0 lead. Palmer, who we understand is fighting a bit of a flu or a cold with McFadden in the backfield on 1st and 10. They go inside on Flowers. It's caught by Streeter and the gain of 9, and he's up to about the 18-yard line. 2nd down and 1.
Streeter is one of those young players that I think has shown some improvement over the course of the season. He was a free agent rookie out of Temple, probably as well as any draft choice on their team so far this year.
2nd and 1. Here's a good-looking catch. Streeter once again. Belted on the play by Johnson. 15-yard pickup. He's down. Put him at the 33. Timeout Raiders. The receiver a little groggy after the nice 1st down catch. Streeter with a nice catch. They took the timeout. You know, he only caught 19 balls as a senior at Temple. It was a run-oriented offense. He's now the 6th leading rookie receiver in the NFL as an undrafted player here.
Came in with 28 catches today. And I think he's improved from week 1 to now. And you love to see that with young players.
Palmer on 1st and 10. Underneath. McFadden slipping as he cuts Flowers there to meet him. It's a catch and run of 7. Another timeout, but this time it is taken by the Raiders.
That was a great play by Flowers, Kevin. He kept him in bounds. He kept him from getting out of bounds while he slipped. But Flowers took away the angle to get out of bounds. See, that's just a smart veteran play. Forced the Raiders to burn that final timeout. Now take a look at just the leverage he has. Watch how he gets outside. So he clearly was going outside saying, no, Darren, if you're going to gain any yards, you're going to have to go down the field. We're tackling you in the field of play.
There's Romeo Crennel. We touched on at the beginning of the broadcast. 2 weeks since linebacker Javon Belcher shot and killed his girlfriend before driving out to Arrowhead, committing suicide, and it was right in front of his head coach and his general manager. It has been, I mean, especially now in light of what's happening in Connecticut, and then you take just before that with the Dallas Cowboys situation, it was a All started by the tragedy in Kansas City a couple weeks ago. It's been a tough go. 2nd down and 3. They'll deal with the block at the left tackle. This goes underneath, and Denarius Moore has the ball. Flowers wrestles him to the ground. It's a gain of 8. And they're up to about the 47-yard line, and they do get the first down.
See how Flowers had the leverage and made the tackle? Then he says, okay, keep the clock going. Well, he's really good. He gets it.
Solomon, have you played on teams like this before? And if you have, where do you find your motivation? Where do you find your respect?
My rookie season in Cincinnati, it was a strike year in '87. And we were 4-11 that year. Boomer Esiason's our quarterback. I was a rookie, and I just remember going to practice every single week, telling my roommate Eric Thomas, we were both rookies, they have to play us sooner or later. And when they put us in there, we got to make some plays. That ensures that we'll be invited back next year. I was so excited to get to play toward the end of the year, and I think young players have to take that approach.
Well, they get the first down. Palmer's at 5 in a row. 6 in the secondary for the Chiefs. The pressure is there. Palmer niftily gets away, and he's got the receiver, and then the collision with a nice play and a flag on Lewis. They were going for Darius Hayward-Bay at about the 15, 16-yard line.
Now here's the question. As you watch Kendrick Lewis go up on this play, does he go up for the man to get the hit, or does he go up for the ball? Now they may say this was uncatchable because it was close to going out of bounds as Hayward-Bay went up for the football.
Illegal touching of the pass by the offensive receiver who had stepped out of bounds after being legally pushed.
Well, there you go.
This penalty will be declined. The result of the play, 2nd down.
So the flag wasn't on Lewis for saying that Hayward-Bay steps out of bounds right here. See, he's out of bounds, so now he's not eligible to touch the ball first. If someone else touches it, then he's able to make the catch. That's why they're going to throw that and call it illegal touching of the ball on Darius Hayward-Bay.
Lewis had the shoulder injury, didn't play last week against Cleveland. You may recall last year, Kendrick Lewis picked off Carson Palmer, returned it for a touchdown. He and Flowers both had that same thing happen. Now the Chiefs have got all kinds of people deep to cover on the 2nd down and 10.
Timeout, Kansas City. This is their 2nd.
I think they had a personnel issue, and that too much to the dismay of Coach Romeo Crennel. How about this? It's a long time ago and very ominous sign.
Well, we know this offense has struggled. Remember, they went their first 8 games of the season without even having a lead in any of those games.
Right.
It's just phenomenal. I mean, it's his ineptitude on the offensive side of the ball. And the Kansas City Chiefs are also in search of some answers. Is Brady Quinn the quarterback of the future? I'm not so sure of it. We know Matt Castle may be moving on after this year, struggled in the early part of the season. This team, 33 giveaways, the most turnovers in the offense in the NFL, and he played a huge role in it.
2nd down and 10. It's Carson Palmer outside, and his leading receiver, the tight end Myers, with a good-looking catch. It was right in front of the linebacker, Greenwood. It's a 13-yard pickup. They get into field goal range at the 39-yard line.
It's also caught in front of Jaleel Brown. He slips and falls, Kevin, number 30. He's the one who has to keep leverage on the ball in the same way that we've seen the veteran cornerback Brandon Flowers do on the other side of the field. You can't allow him to catch that ball and still step out of bounds.
57-yard try by Janikowski. And right down the middle. 57 yards. 2 50-yard field goals, a 20-yarder. That's a season long. And the Raiders shutting out the Chiefs at halftime. After this message and a word from your local station, we take you to New York. You're watching CBS, the home of Super Bowl 47. Oh, Sebastian Janikowski, what are your first half thoughts?
Well, the Kansas City Chiefs have no offense to show right now. One of the best components, Jamal Charles, has been stifled right now. The Kansas City Chiefs minus 2 yards rushing in today's game. They've run into a brick wall called the Oakland Raiders defense. Haven't been able to do much. They've turned the ball over. Brady Quinn interception, setting up Sebastian Janikowski field goal. The Raiders, on the other hand, have run the ball very well. But at the end of the day, the best offense we have seen has come from 3 field goals in the first half from Sebastian Janikowski. This is a game void of offense. And remember, Carson Palmer, feeling under the weather, entered the game with flu-like symptoms. But still, 198 yards total offense for the Oakland Raiders. They protected the ball. Carson Palmer came into this one having thrown an interception in 9 consecutive games. So far, it's not turned it over. 12 first downs for the Raiders, none for the Kansas City Chiefs.
18 plays for the Chiefs, and quarterback Brady Quinn, 17 yards. Maybe they had a 42-yard run by Charles called back because of a penalty. All right, here we go, second half. Chiefs, remember, one. The flip of the coin, they're going to bring it out with Josh Bellamy. Knocked around, brought down on the play. Kalen Burnett wanted to get him, 26-yard return.
Knocked down by number 95, Kalen Burnett.
Brady Quinn. He's been in Cleveland, in Denver, and now in Kansas City.
And their 6 first half possessions, Kevin. 5 times they went 3 and out, and on the other one, Brady Quinn was intercepted. It's got to get this offense off to a good start here in the second half. Try to gain some traction.
And a run here by Jamal Charles on first down and 10. Brought down on the play by Tommy Kelly. It is a gain of 4. He's up to the 22-yard line.
One way to gain some traction offensively if you're Kansas City, you got to get Jamal Charles off to a good start. Got to try to break another big one. I'm sure Romeo Cornell really gave it to his football team at halftime. Just, lacked the effort and then the ability to run the football, something they've done well in recent weeks. Not able to do so here today.
Quickly outside, almost uncatchable right there for Jamar Newsom. Incomplete pass, all kinds of Raider coverage on the play. It'll be 3rd and 6.
Brady Quinn simply rushed that throw. You've got to give the wide receiver a chance to catch and run. Now he's saying that he can't hear the play that they're trying to call in on the headset. So they give him a number. He goes to the wristband to call the play, and time is ticking off the clock. Got to hurry up and snap the ball. As you take a look at Brian Daboll, the offense coordinator, can't be happy with the way things went in the first half.
Thrown in the backfield, 6 in the secondary, 3rd and 6 for Quinn. Newsom, 3 and out. They got to punt again.
A couple of tough opportunities there for Newsom. I think the second one, you got to catch it. Yeah, the ball could be thrown better. Quinn has been plagued by inaccuracies, but that ball hit Newsom right where you want, in the hands, as pressure was coming right in the face of Brady Quinn. 3 drop passes today by Chiefs offensive players.
Colquitt has averaged over 54 yards per punt today, and he puts up another one. Boy, this really drives back Denarius Moore. It'll be out of bounds inside the 10. Has he had a day of good bouncers and good punts for the Chiefs from the well-known Colquitt punting family. A 71-yarder. That's a career long.
That's how you flip the field, right?
Yes, sir. That's a good
1 minute you're at one end, swing of the leg by Colquitt, you're clear at the other end of the field.
He's been the bright spot for the Chiefs.
And I'm not so sure that's a good thing when your punter is your bright spot. Well, let's see what the Raiders can do offensively. As we told you, Carson Palmer feeling a bit under the weather. We've already seen Terrell Pryor earlier in the first half.
Couple tight ends on 1st and 10, and McFadden tries to pick and poke his way up the middle, and it's stuffed, as you can see. Poe is there along with Potoa Tua. It's a gain of 2, and he's up to the 9.
6 first half possessions. You can see the Raiders did have to punt on 3 of those. Should say 7 first half possessions, but 3 field goals and had an opportunity to make a 4th. But Sebastian Janikowski missed on a 50-yard field goal attempt.
They've had 10 days to get ready for this. They played on that Thursday a couple weeks ago.
Expect them to play better. Expect them to be able to run the football a bit better here at home.
This is McFadden on 2nd down and 8. And he is devoured as he hit that line. I think the first hit was from Dontari Poe. On a gain of 4, he's up to the 13-yard line.
Oakland Raiders, it's about running the football. You know, Dennis Allen said he wanted to take a look at some young players. We said we already saw Terrell Pryor in the first half. Tony Bergstrom, the offensive tackle. We've seen him earlier in the game. Phillip Adams knocked out of the game with a concussion. But there's so many young players he wants to get a look at. He said, but hey, we want to win the football game. But with these final three, they've got to be able to project into the future with some of these young players.
Chiefs are in the nickel, 3rd and 4 for Carson Palmer. That's brought in by Moore, has the first down. And Arenas was there with the coverage on the play, a gain of 8. First down, Denarius Moore, the Tennessee Volunteer.
Yeah, good protection for Carson Palmer. If you keep him clean, he'll pick you apart. He'll make throws like this. As Javier Arenas matched up against Moore. Can't prevent Moore from breaking out and making the catch. It was well timed between quarterback and wide receiver. 13 first downs in the game for Carson Palmer and company.
4 down. 129.
First and 10. And Darren McFadden blocked there by Valdir. 68. They like this kid, and he goes into a pile of Chiefs defenders. Barry was there. Gain of a yard to the 22.
Well, Carson Palmer said that Tom Bahali and Justin Houston thought they were the second best rush tandem in the National Football League. I said, well, who's the best? He clearly said Von Miller and Elvis Dumerville from the Denver Broncos. But still, again, the best two are inside the AFC West division. These guys are pretty good when you talk about Tom Bahali and Justin Houston and turning the corner and getting to the quarterback.
Goodson in, the fake to him. 2nd down, 9, and right on the money once again. And this goes to Rod Streeter. He's caught another. Arenas hobbles up, but with the tackle, 42-yard line. A pickup of 19, a first down.
Yeah, but see the protection. Look at both the ends. Ali, Houston can't get close to Palmer as he throws it right down the teeth of the defense. Streeter beats Javier Arenas, winning inside leverage on the slant route. So protection, good play down the field. 14 first downs right now, none for the Kansas City Chiefs.
First down and 10, Goodson. Tua brings him down. Let's go back to Streeter on that gain of 2 right there to the 43-yard line. Streeter's had a couple of good weeks here against Denver. 10 days ago, 4 catches, 100 yards. Before that, 3 catches, 96 yards against Cleveland. Today, Streeter 4 for 53.
And we told you he's getting better. Look, last week against the Denver Broncos, 100 yards receiving in that Thursday night game. He continues to get better. I think he's one of their most improved players during the 2012 season.
When I just talked to the GM, Reggie McKenzie, at halftime, they just signed him off the street.
Wow.
2nd down and 8. Finds a good block at the right tackle. That's time. They're looking for Myers. They had all kinds of Chiefs defenders right there, including Derek Johnson. 3rd down and 8.
I thought that was a great play by Derek Johnson, undercutting the tight end, Brandon Myers. They understand Carson Palmer will go to Myers maybe more than any other player on this offense. He's been targeted the most. He has more catches, 28 more coming into today's game than any of their top receivers. Look at him getting under that play with Barry coming over the top.
You and I talked to him last night. He said, I've got a hamstring, so pass coverage has been tough. Well, he sure gutted it out and played that one very well.
Absolutely. He is a trooper. He's a real professional in this organization. They can continue to build with players like Derek Johnson.
Timeout. Play clock was down to 1. Palmer will signal for time. They're on the move with the 3rd and 8 coming up here in the 3rd. Well, Raiders putting together a drive here that had an 8-yard pass reception by Moore, 19-yard strike to Streeter, 3rd down and 8 on their own 43. After they just took the timeout. Great time. Right on the screws, caught by Moore. First down. Jaleel Brown brings him down at the Kansas City 40-yard line. 18-yard strike, they'll move it.
Well, here it is, right across the middle of the field. While you're watching Denarius Moore, watch the protection from Carson Palmer. Watch him just climb the pocket, stick this one right down the middle in double coverage. This is why they're very high on Carson Palmer here in Oakland. They feel he's a tough kid. He'll hang in the pocket. You give him protection, and if the receiver's in the right place at the right time, he'll find them.
McFadden on 1st and 10, chased by Seiler, trying to get a block from Hayward Bay. Brought down by Seiler, who stuck right with it, but not before a 19-yard run by Darren McFadden to the Kansas City 21.
The offense is clicking when they run the ball well. on plays like this. Look at him slashing off tackle. Haywood Bay on the block on Jaleel Brown is critical, and then McFadden refused to go out of bounds, trying to eke out more yards on that run. Good blocking on the perimeter by the wide receivers, but the offensive line was phenomenal.
McFadden had 114 against the Chiefs back in Week 8 in Kansas City in that Raider win. 10th play of the drive here. Goodson. He finds a bit of a seam. Eric Johnson around his ankles as he squirms for 6 down to the 15-yard line. Well, tonight on 60 Minutes, it's the largest passenger ship ever wrecked, twice the size of the Titanic. So how are they planning to raise it? Find out tonight on 60 Minutes, only on CBS. Darren McFadden, 5 years out of Arkansas. Peyton Hillis was in that backfield along with Felix Jones down in Fayetteville for the Razorbacks.
That's a talented trio of running backs. The Raiders begin this drive inside of their own 10-yard line.
2nd and 4. Goodson. Johnson. Nice play. Eric Johnson. Also in there was Toribio making the stop. It's a loss of 6. Back to the 21. To your point, an 8-yard pass to Moore. Also had an 18-yard reception, both on 3rd down. 19-yard pass to Streeter. 19-yard run by McFadden on a drive, as you say, that began at the 7-yard line of the Raiders.
Yards by the chunks is what you get from the Oakland Raiders offense. Dennis Allen has to really be pleased with the way his offense is playing. You can tell the 10-day rest did his football team some good.
3rd and 10. Here comes Khalid. There goes Palmer. Steps up niftily outside. Streeter to about the 12. Flowers was there. Travis Daniels stopped him as well. Gain of 9. That was on 3rd and 10, so now a yard to go. 4th down.
Look at the movement on Palmer. He got off to a slow start. We told you battling flu-like symptoms before the game, but look at him moving. This ball is thrown very well with Palmer having to move off his spot. Have to, again, settle for the field goal, but it's just good movement and an impressive drive by Carson Palmer and the Raiders offense.
Yes, when you've got a couple of teams that have records like these two do, 3-10 and 2-11, you expect a game of field goals. That's what we've got in the 30-yard try by Seabass. Janikowski makes it 12-zip. Palmer had a very nice throwing drive right there with a start at 7. They get a 30-yard field goal and a lead of 12. 13-play drive, 7:25 off the 3rd quarter clock. Sebastian Janikowski from 30, the ensuing kickoff. They're caught in the end zone, touchback to the 20. Here comes Brady Quinn, 8 of 14. His team down 12-zip in the 3rd. Brady Quinn started for the Chiefs against the Raiders back in late October. Had 12 plays, then a concussion, was knocked out of the game.
How about that? The fewest yards in a single game are 62 back in 1968 against the Raiders. Today, 21 yards total offense.
It's down in 10. Outside, Jamal Charles, the rookie Burris, chases him out of bounds. Miles Burris out of the linebacking core, chases him down, gain of 6 on the play.
Brady Quinn struggling today to lead this offense. You can see he's been hit, hurried, and harassed, but then easy throws, not able to complete those. And then, of course, misreads between he and some of his wide receivers led to his only interception in the game today. He's got to be frustrated with what's happening here.
2nd down and 4. There's Charles, a loss of 2. They pursue well. Omar Gaither was there. Playing the middle linebacker on the 43. Lamar Houston was assisting on the play. And you think about Matt Castle. I remember coming here a couple of years ago when he was quarterbacking for the injured Tom Brady. He had a big game here the week he buried his dad. His dad had died in the Los Angeles area, went back for the funeral, missed all of the week of practice, came here, threw about 4 or 5 touchdown passes. Then he goes to Kansas City, 2010 Pro Bowl, missed 7 games last year with the injury. They thought they'd get the same product this year. That has not been the case. 3rd and 6. Quinn, McCluster, on Branch. Oh, I think he's dug for the 1st down. He gets it. That's his first catch today. The back pedal and the 2nd and 3rd effort by McCluster give him 8 in the 1st down.
Oh, it was 3rd and 6. Looks like he's going to get maybe 7 or 8 on the play. Look, hit right there by Branch. Stays off the ground, able to stagger forward and drag Branch beyond that 1st down mark. That's their first first down play on the day. And if it was a gain of 8, it's their longest gain of the day.
It is indeed. First and 10. Quinn. Drilled by Branch, but the catch is made. There's a flag, too. They got to the 49. It was good for 17. They're going to put on more.
Hit to the head of a defenseless player, and you led with the head. So that constitutes an illegal play.
That's their leading tackler, too, Branch.
Yeah, and you can hit him. You just can't lead with your head to his head when he's in that defenseless position.
After the completion of the catch, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense for a helmet hit to the head or neck area, 15-yard penalty, first down.
And that's what they're going to get him on. And coaches are teaching players about this. Now watch him lead with the head to the head. See, he's in a defenseless position. There's no way Tony Moyaki can protect himself. We're going to protect our players. It's got to be from plays like that.
It's only his 29th reception all season. Deepest penetration for the Chiefs. In fact, this is the first play they've had today in Raider territory. Number 36, Charles. Wheeler and a couple others at the bottom of the pile. I see Bryant getting up. It's a gain of 3. Put him at the 33.
Well, this offense has got some traction now. Just when we talked about Brady Quinn and the ineptitude of this offense. Their third first down in the last 2 plays. The previous 28, or I should say 23 plays, they couldn't muster a first down. Right now, Quinn's got something cooking on offense.
2nd and 7. Stevenson trying to hold out Carter, but can't. Here comes Carter. Right around the rookie. Stevenson taking the place of the injured Brandon Albert today. It's the 3rd sack authored by the Raider defense. It goes back to the 36.
Pressure ruins it. Look at Stevenson at the top. He runs right around him, does Carter. Getting to the feet of Brady Quinn, who tries to climb the pocket. Tries to get rid of the ball, but he couldn't.
That name Carter has haunted Chiefs fans for a while. They may remember his dad, Reuben Carter, played for the Broncos late 70s and 80s. 3rd and 10. Timeout Quinn. What he saw, he did not like. 3.5 to play in the 3rd. Those are not vultures.
What are you saying?
We don't think.
So what are you trying to say?
Third down and 10. After the Kansas City timeout, Quinn going deep, and he's got his guy, and it's incomplete. Oh, there's a flag. Coy Francis was down stride for stride with Jamar Newsom on 3rd and 10.
Wow. There was some contact. Francis, maybe did he use the arm bar? Newsom went down before the ball arrived, but Francis was looking back in as if to make a play on the football.
Pass interference, defense, number 31, automatic, first down.
You know, the job of the cornerback is, but see, you have to get on top. See, he's pulling at him, and he's in trail position. There you see, he's not even looking back for the ball, Kevin, and he's fighting with the arm. See right there? Throwing them off stride. If you get on top of the receiver and then you can squeeze them out of bounds, that kind of contact you're allowed to make, but not in the chase position when you're not playing the football at all.
Lewis in the backfield. 27-yard penalty in essence. 1st and goal. Quinn. Lewis drops it. Coverage on the play by Huff. Boy, a lot of drops by the Chiefs this afternoon. 4 of them. We've counted.
That's why you can't even put it all on Brady Quinn. He's had some inaccurate throws, but boy, he's had some good ones also. Like this. You can't throw it any better to Hillis. We've seen other receivers drop the ball as well when the ball was thrown. Very good by Brady Quinn. This offense struggles for a variety of reasons.
What a disappointment. 2nd goal at the 9. Charles back in. Finds a seam, lunges to the 4. Kelly was there with the stop. That's a gain of 5. Philip Wheeler again there with the tackle. He's got to be in double digits today, the former Colt Wheeler. Good game.
Now, the Kansas City Chiefs have struggled all season long, where they're the worst inside the red zone. trying to get the ball into the end zone. Once they get inside the 20, it really hurt this football team. Penalties, turnovers, costly mistakes, lack of execution. You pick one. It's happened to this offense.
Cluster is at the side of Quinn. Charles, the top of your screen, the running back. 3rd and goal. Quinn knocked away. Moiaki was there. And Burris, the rookie linebacker out of San Diego State, with a terrific defensive play.
Oh, Brady Quinn hung in there. He wanted to get McCluster out of the backfield. Watch McCluster here, but he'll fall down, Kevin. And if you're a quarterback, things have to happen quick in the red zone. See, he falls down. He's got to come back over the middle of the field. So he's lucky that ball wasn't intercepted. It was quick thinking in terms of the progression by Brady Quinn once his first initial receiver, McCluster, fell down coming out of the backfield. I should say Jamal Charles.
6 defensive backs, 4th and goal at the 4.
Hurry up and snap it.
1, delay a game. Delay a game.
Yes.
Can you believe that?
And Brady Quinn was calling for
Delay
it.
a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty remains. 4th down.
Did we talk about lack of execution down inside the red zone? Didn't I just say that whatever has happened to this offense, everything is? Pick one. Choose one. That's why Romeo Crennel's got to be seething with a lack of execution on the play. You see Brady Quinn saying, okay, snap it. Snap it. Ryan Lilja refuses to snap it. Then no, let's wait till we run out of time, then I'll snap it.
Lilja, the normal guard, is in there because of the Hudson injury earlier in the season. 4th and goal up to 9 now with the penalty in tow. Quinn, Charles, on downs with a Giordano stop. It goes to the Raiders. They hold the Chiefs on goal to go. The Raider defense does it. They've given up more points than any other defense in the NFL, but here they stop Kansas City dead in their tracks. Some frustration on that Kansas City sideline.
Yeah, you know, quarterback and center having a discussion, trying to figure out what happened, because it really did hinder their ability to put points on the board.
It's McFadden on 1st down and 10, getting a block from his tight end and cut off at the pass that time. Barry along with Patoa Tua. Here's what happened during the commercial while we were away, Lilja and Quinn.
And it's just a discussion. Maybe it's a heated one, but I don't know that one is being accusatory more so than the other. Because Lilja is a 9-year veteran of the National Football League, but you know, I think to his credit, he's a guard. And he's taking one for the team by playing that center position. Clearly made a mistake. You know, but he doesn't have great experience at that position, and that mistake cost him.
2nd down 9. McFadden hit by Tyson Jackson, wrapped up right there. Gain of a yard to the 10. Again, like we talked about before, in your many years in the NFL, you've been on teams that, you know, sometimes the frustration of a season builds, especially in a case like this.
Oh, yeah. And let's face it, emotions run high. You're passionate about what you're doing. And Brady Quinn's trying to win games. Ryan Lilja trying to do the right thing. Remember, the center position is almost like the quarterback for the offensive line. He's got to know what's going on with the 25-second clock, set the protections, do the count, communicate to everyone on the offensive line. So he's under great duress as well.
6 in the secondary, 3rd and 8. Arenas is out, by the way, with an ankle. Up the middle. The galloping McFadden with a 1st down to the 25-yard line. It's a 15-yard run. And the Raiders move the chains and get some breathing space.
McFadden now 100 yards rushing in the game on 23 carries. The offensive line's done a good job getting him to the 2nd level. He's done a good job of hitting the edge and getting outside of this Kansas City Chiefs defense, which is not easy to do. Consider they run a 3-4 scheme. It's hard to crease this defense.
1st and 10. Incomplete. With Brown covering on the near side and going for more. Tonight on Survivor, 4 castaways remain, 2 tribal councils and 2 incredible hours. Only one will be the sole survivor. Don't miss the season finale and live reunion show tonight only on CBS. And for the Raiders here, their 3rd consecutive drive, starting inside their 10. They've scored the last 2 with field goals. Second down and 10. Goodson. He breaks a Johnson tackle. He breaks a Lewis tackle, and he's off to the races. Brown from behind. He works his way down to the Kansas City 32-yard line. A couple of broken attempts, a 42-yard run, a Raider first down.
Oh, you love Goodson. Look at the break back. Look at that. And he gets to the second level. He makes 2 unblocked defenders miss. Oh, that's a running back who's earning his money in the NFL. Can't block them all. Sometimes as a runner, you got to beat the rest.
That's the end of the third. The Raiders on the move. You're watching the NFL on CBS, the home of Super Bowl 47. I know some consider the Chiefs and Raiders the dregs of the NFL. These players, though, remain fairly optimistic on both sides. Here's a 1st and 10. First play of the fourth quarter. Incomplete, nobody home. There's a flag thrown on Jaleel Brown. They were going for Darius Hayward-Bay. I say that because we talked with both teams this week, and they were both optimistic, looking forward and trying to improve. But the record speaks for itself.
Defense number 30. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
As Bill Parcells says, your record says what you are.
Yeah, this is Jaleel Brown holding at the top of the route. Won't release Darius Hayward-Bay. Gets penalized on the play. But to your point, Kevin, when you talk to the players for both teams, the coaches, every last one of them, Romeo Cornell's group, Dennis Allen's group, said these final 3 games, we want to see what we're really made of. We want to start to build something that we feel we can carry into next season. It's about energy and effort. And I think both teams are trying hard, but it's from a lack of talent as well, particularly for the Chiefs.
Fedden inside. You see the avalanche of Kansas City defenders. He meets. It's a gain of 2. Seiler was there. Johnson, Poe, and others near the 25. Hey, for complete pro football coverage, including everything you need to know from this weekend's matchups all the way through Super Bowl 47. Visit cbssports.com/NFL. Second down and 8. Big plays on this drive. There have been many. 15-yard run by McFadden. A 42-yard run by Goodson.
They've improved their running game today, well above their season average.
Fedden, 2nd and 8. Hit there by Berry. Big cast on that left hand. Gain of 2 to the 23.
Well, the Raiders are off and running. It's been run DMC with Darren McFadden increasing the defense of the Kansas City Chiefs. Able to break it outside with great speed. And what about nifty moves for Mike Goodson coming in, spelling McFadden. He's got 72 yards rushing in the game. McFadden, a $104. Between the two, they have creased this Kansas City Chiefs defense. They've outrun the entire offense of Kansas City, only have 56 yards of total offense.
8 on the ground. 8. 3rd and 6. Incomplete. Hayward-Bay and Jaleel Brown jousting across the way. They're going to try it for 3.
We talk about contesting for the ball. If Hayward-Bay doesn't contest for this one, Jaleel Brown's going to get a pick 6. So you got to come back to the ball. That's what saved that one. Carson Palmer trusting that Hayward-Bay would knife underneath, come away with the catch.
Janikowski, 4-5, 41-yarder here. Again, this drive started inside the 10. Got it. 41-yarder. 15-0. The Raiders early in the 4th. Well, here's Sebastian Janikowski with 5 field goals. That ties his career high. Just knocked one in from 41. He had 15-0. Subsequent kickoff, Bellamy. Right into the defense, into the hands of Goodson. 19-yard return. Well, Wednesday in primetime, JB, Chris Collinsworth, Phil Simms showcase America's favorite game with their own unique style. It's Inside the NFL, Wednesday on Showtime. I don't think this game will be leading off that show. I could be wrong.
They'll get it in. They'll get it in.
Don't know.
They'll get into Sebastian Janikowski highlights, and it'll be great. The fans here are having a blast. This is their last home game of the season.
That's right. Quinn on 1st and 10. McCluster. Got by Wheeler, got by Branch on the move, and fights his way up to the 44.
This is what I'm talking about. If you don't think Dexter McCluster is playing hard, or you're just not paying attention. Look, he makes the catch, run away from Wheeler, then a nice little juke there, then spin move here. He's putting it on the line, coming up with some turf in the helmet, still playing football.
He is the one taking the place of Bo. McCluster, a catch and run of 31 up to the 44. And we've got an early 4th quarter here. Let's take you to New York and James Brown.
Pittsburgh battling back. No substitute for speed. Mike Wallace off the play action, splits the defense, 60 yards. Ben lays it out there. He catches it, sets up a Jonathan Dwyer 1-yard touchdown run. We're all tied at 17 in Dallas.
And Solomon, let Kevin know, yes, the highlights from your game will be on the show.
Oh, that's a great one, JB. From the Bernie Bush himself.
Yeah.
We get confirmation.
You take a look at the AFC North standings. 1st and 10 underneath Charles. Hit on the play by Hanson, who has an interception today. It's a catch and run of 11 yards. It's another 1st down to the Raider 45.
How about Brady Quinn trying to make something happen here for his offense? Continue to play. 1 touchdown, and they're right in this ball game.
1st and 10, Charles has 3 consecutive 100-yard rushing games coming into today. And a stiff arm his way by Bryant. Shoved out of bounds on the play by Brandon Ross. All that work and a measly gain of 2.
No, Jamal Charles ineffective in today's game. 8 carries, only 10 yards rushing. He's been stacked, stuffed, and tackled on every single carry of the ball game. Not able to get to the 2nd level, where his speed can serve as huge plays for this offense.
Randy Kovich wrote it in the Star this week. He said it's the quietest 1,200-yard rushing season he can ever recall, and I would agree. 2nd down and 8, Quinn up the middle. It's Moiaki trying to scoop it in. Gain of 10, and at the 33 of the Raiders, another 1st down.
Well, Quinn is stacking up 1st downs now for this offense. Kind of got something going here in the 2nd half of the ball game, where they have 7 1st downs. They had none in the 1st half of the ball game.
Gillis remains 1st and 10. Is batted down at the line of scrimmage. It's a big old Tommy Kelly, 6'8". He's got the size. Big Mississippian right there, getting his hands up in the air.
Tommy Kelly, he's a keeper. Look at him right here, in the big paw up in the face of Brady Quinn.
2nd and 10 from the 33.
Good leverage, getting one hand up. He's a keeper. They can build around his presence on that defensive line moving forward.
He was the highest paid defensive tackle in the NFL at one time when they re-signed him here. 2nd down and 10. He's a big rascal.
Big.
Charles is in, offering a block. Quinn for Baldwin. And the coverage on the play by Francis. There's no yellow on the field. Well, you talk about a invisible 1st-round pick. Jonathan Baldwin.
In tight man-to-man coverage as a quarterback, this is what you got to do, Kevin. Give your guy a chance to make a catch. Now watch, off the hands of Baldwin. I thought it was a good throw from Quinn. You allowed him to make a play. Can't hold on to it forever. Ball right off the hands of Baldwin, who can't possess it, can't come down with it against Boy Francis.
3rd and 10. Oh, devoured the aforementioned Tommy Kelly. His 1st sack of the season after recording 7 a year ago. The 4th sack by the Raider D. And it comes at a great time, pushing the Chiefs back to the 41.
He obliterates the offensive line. Take a look at it. Just come right up the middle. They just turn him loose. Asamoah just turns out and allow Kelly to walk right in on Brady Quinn.
4 completions of 31 to McCluster, 11 to Charles, 10 for Moiaki. Go poof. Right up in smoke. They got a punt again. Giordano is back, and the ball is in the end zone. 41-yard punt. Tommy Kelly, a Pro Bowl alternate the last 2 years, comes up with a big play. 10:29 in the fourth. Raiders are pitching a shutout here early in the fourth quarter.
Last time Chiefs were shut out quite some time ago in 2010 against the San Diego Chargers.
Carson Palmer, 1st and 10 after the Kansas City punt. And McFadden, that may be a fumble. It's picked up on the play by Houston. He'll stagger ahead of the 17. It is a fumble, and Kansas City's got it.
What do you know? This ball's thrown a little late to Darren McFadden. Nonetheless, he did catch it. He did make a football move and turned around with it, and then he's going to be stripped of the football right there by Brandon Seiler. Ball's out. Chiefs recover.
Every turnover is reviewed, and that is what is going on right now upstairs. The ball is at the 18-yard line on McFadden, coughing it up. Houston vacuuming it in, and Seiler jarring it free. Now they're in the red zone.
Previous play will go under review.
All right, they'll review it upstairs on the turnover. 10:18 to play. McFadden had it, but did he really have it? That's the discussion now. Tony Caroni has had a chance to go into the hood and take a look.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The Oakland receiver did possess a football, took multiple steps, and it was ripped out of his hands for a fumble. It was then recovered by Kansas City for a first down.
Yep, they're saying Darren McFadden had the catch. The multiple steps part is the act of making a football move with it. And then the ball is pried loose by Seiler. Recovered by Houston.
Houston 10 from the 18. Quinn chased by Carter, just throws it away.
Smart play by Brady Quinn.
Flag, was it intentional grounding perhaps? There was a receiver going down the sideline.
Well, he got out of the pocket.
Yeah, you're right.
See, once he gets out of the pocket, the ball just has to make it back to the line of scrimmage on the throw. And that's what they're talking about. That's why I said I thought it was a smart play from Quinn. He didn't just throw it while still in the tackle box. He rolled out and then throw it. But now you've got to get it back to the line of scrimmage.
Offensive pass interference. Number 81, blocking downfield on a pass that went in that zone. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Moiaki.
They're going to get, see, he's going to get out of the pocket here. We're going to show you Moiaki. Watch Moiaki. He thinks that it's a screen play, so watch him blocking downfield on what was a pass play. And he blocks prematurely, so they're going to penalize him on the play.
Now it's back to the 28. 1st and 20. Underneath, and there's been a lot of underneath, as we've seen. That's McCluster hit by the linebacker, who is Wheeler. Gain of 8 to the 20.
Now, remember, this possession originally started down inside the red zone. We already told you this is the last ranked offense in red zone scoring, where they really have struggled to get it into the end zone. And whenever they've had the ball on a short field, they've only scored one touchdown on a drive of 50-yard or less. So they really have struggled whenever the defenses come up with turnovers to put them on a short field.
2nd down and 12. Ooh.
Now, I don't know what that was. That not only was it a bad throw from Brady Quinn, he didn't set his feet, didn't have good technique and fundamental, and I think the ball slipped out of his hand, but he just hurries this throw, Kevin. See, not good mechanics there. See that? It's almost like he short-armed it or second-guessed himself, started to throw it and then didn't want to throw it because the intended receiver wasn't looking back at the time.
As an aside, when they played 10 days ago, this defense had Peyton Manning in the red zone 7 times. They only allowed 2 scores, so they're coming off a pretty good defensive red zone. The Raiders are 3rd and 12. Hit as he throws, fluttering incomplete. Picking himself off the turf once again is Quinn. It'll be 4th and 12.
Pressure on the quarterback. This is the 6th time they've faced 3rd and 10 or longer. Can't execute. Burris comes in, puts a hit on Brady Quinn, forces the incompleted pass. 4th and 12, may as well go for it when you're 2 and 11. How about taking a shot at the end zone, though? You got to get this down inside the 5-yard line to at least ensure you'll get a new set of downs.
4th and 12. They need the 8 for the first down.
There you
Quinn, Baldwin, over his head, incomplete. The coverage by Ross, and on downs, and Quinn was drilled.
Well, Quinn did the right thing. You've got to give somebody a chance to make a play in the end zone. Now, Baldwin gets knocked off his route, doesn't compete for the football very well. And, yeah, you can see Quinn gets clobbered. Look at that. But you can see he's knocked off his route. Really good coverage by Ross. Look at that. Look.
Hit high and hit low. Low is Wheeler. High was Lamar Houston. They tattoo Quinn.
He's feeling it.
First down and 10. McFadden. Derek Johnson jumping on his back. Gain of 3. We're jumping on the back of James from New York with the update.
And I got a big back, Kevin, and the Steelers take the first lead.
Ben Roethlisberger to Antonio Brown, 7 yards out. And this is what you call a touchdown, JB.
Was that intended for Kevin and Solly?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. Kevin and Solomon.
Thanks.
I got the subliminal messages there sent by Coach Cowher. That was a good one. It was a good one.
Merry Christmas to you as well. 2nd down and 7. Slipping McFadden. There he goes. Berry makes the stop. It's a gain of a yard on the play.
How about the Pittsburgh Steelers, though, battling to stay in contention and stay close, nipping at the heels of the Baltimore Ravens, who lost earlier today to Denver. Cincinnati having won against Philadelphia on Thursday night. 3 teams in the AFC North all in contention for that division title.
Third and 6. False start.
False start. Offense number 61. 5-yard penalty remains 3rd down.
Well, we're at the top of the hour, and for those of you expecting to see 60 Minutes or watching the NFL on CBS, the game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Oakland Raiders, Kevin Harlan alongside Solomon Wilcots. 15-0 Oakland. 60 Minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast, where it'll be seen at its normally scheduled time. It is 3rd and 11 with the false start.
Shut up! 180! Set!
McFadden. Oh, and he's got a blocker ahead and room to roll, and forced out of bounds by Travis Daniels. The catch and run to the 32. 14-yard pickup on 3rd and 11 in the first down.
Well, watch how they allow the defensive end. Look, he just shoots up the field, does Houston, and then they dump it off in the flat. Leo Brown's got to make that tackle. You miss one on Darren McFadden, then it's 20 yards later before you can get him out of bounds.
Good day. Look at those numbers.
He's been impressive. When he's healthy,
yeah,
he's as good. He's a keeper. I still believe you can build around his presence on this football team as well. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year.
Goodson is in, 1st and 10. And he runs right through. Seiler with the stop. And the gain up to the 38-yard line. About 5-6 yards on the carry.
Many people ask me, with Darren McFadden, hampered by injuries this year yet again and not able to play in all games. I think he missed 4 consecutive games due to injury. Can he be the premier back? I still believe his talents are phenomenal. You allow him to leave here in Oakland, you might see him playing for some team as that 3rd down back, being a potent weapon on a really good football team. I think you bring in another runner who's more dominant, and I think as a pair, I think he can be phenomenal.
2nd down and 4, Goodson. Houston brought down on the play by Houston. It's a gain of 3, running to the side, and leaves it about the 42. But they've got so many needs to fill on the Raiders, and they had some very significant salary cap issues, which Reggie McKenzie has navigated very well, using the Green Bay model and bringing it to Oakland and trying to build that way with first-year coach Dennis Allen.
And remember, in Green Bay, if that's the model, there hasn't been a whole lot of premium on paying running backs top dollar in the NFL.
That's an interesting
just been
point.
their way of doing things.
Third and a long one.
180. That's it.
Madden, they may have stopped him. I told you it was like he's there, driving a backs.
Tua. Every time I watch the Kansas City Chiefs, he's a presence on that defensive line. He makes plays. 6'8", 315 from Washington State.
I don't think he's missed many meals either.
Think he's still growing? He's a good football player, I know that.
He's helped him on that line.
He really is.
Pleasant surprise. He back now. They've got a new return man, and that is rookie Devin Wiley. He's on the Fresno State. He played high school football not far from here over in Granite Bay, California. And he returns it from the 15, breaking a couple tackles, gets by Giordano and others, and finally is brought down on the play by Keelan Burnett. 14-yard return, 42-yard punt, 4:51 in this one. I love blimps. Aerial coverage of today's game provided by MetLife. That's downtown Oakland, and the foreground and the background and all that haze and stuff, San Francisco.
Beautiful, isn't it? Prettier than the game we're getting here. But this is still the National Football League, and they're still competing.
Quinn is in, 1st and 10. It's Moriaki, and Taban Branch, the leading tackler for the Raider defense, brings him down. Gain of 9 to the 38.
Let's see if this offensive line can protect Brady Quinn. With that last possession, he left the field under severe pain.
2nd and 1. Quinn, he's going to air this one out for Baldwin. Doing some double coverage with Huff. He's moved from safety to corner now, and Giordano is right there.
Baldwin's not getting any separation. And Huff moved from safety to corner and is going stride for stride with Baldwin. Can't get on top, can't separate, can't beat the jam at the line of scrimmage. One-time first-round pick out of the University of Pittsburgh.
Just 18 catches this season. Underachieving. 3rd and 1. Even Jamal Charles, who's been so reliable, brought down by Branch right there, shot right through. And it's 4th down, and they've got to punt again.
Now, we've seen a lot of Dustin Colquitt today. The inability to convert on 3rd and 10. 1 of 12 today for the Kansas City Chiefs offense on 3rd down.
8th punt coming up for the Chiefs in a busy Dustin Colquitt. You know, we've had a lot of bad news lately, haven't we, with the death in Kansas City, the murder-suicide, what has just happened in Connecticut. I want to bring you just a ray of some good news. This is Tony Correnti, and he is our referee today, battling cancer last year, missed a good portion of the season. He's back this year, 15th season as you see. Very strong referee, great reputation league-wide, and he is back, hale and hearty. And Tony, it's great to see you. I can only imagine the joy in that family this Christmas, this holiday season, with him healthy and winning the battle. And a good cheer goes to you as well. Congratulations. They're going to go for it. 4th down and 1. Hillis is in. Hillis with the block. Short. It went to McCuster. The tackle was made by Hanson. They're shy by a half yard, and on downs, it goes back to the Raiders again.
It's about Hanson. He understands. 3-step drop, ball out, close, tackle. No yards after the catch or after contact. Doesn't allow McCluster to turn upfield 1 iota to gain an inch. That's just an excellent play from a veteran corner. It's the 3rd time.
Can you believe that?
They turned it over that many on downs.
Game.
Yeah, we just saw it on the last possession down inside the red zone.
I know it. Quinn, 18 of 32. Charles, 9 carries, 10 yards. First and 10. McFadden. Seiler got him. And Big Sean Smith, gain of 3. Last shutout by the Raiders helped Kansas City to 176 total yards back in late December 2002. Rod Woodson picked off our friend Trent Green in the second quarter. Zach Crockett led a touchdown. In the fourth, it sealed the 24-0 win. The Chiefs won here last year, 28-zip. They had won 8 of 9, but today it's been the Raiders.
Ditching that shutout. And, you know, for Kansas City, many people are going to talk about Brady Quinn's performance here. If you're the Chiefs, if you can't run, you can't win. Only 10 yards rushing the football today.
Second down and 7. Lewis can't get Goodson, but Smith does and wrestles him down at the 29 on a gain of 6. Well, let's take the big view here, the landscape of the AFC playoffs.
Well, the Houston Texans clinch the AFC South division today and still hold on to the #1 seed. They beat the Indianapolis Colts. The Denver Broncos are now the #2 seed after winning in Baltimore. The Ravens fall to 9-5, and the Patriots, they'll play later this evening against the San Francisco 49ers, see if they can improve their record to 11-3. If they win tonight, they'll reclaim that #2 seed.
How about the Bengals?
Impressive win, I thought, in Philadelphia, even though they didn't play the best in that Thursday night game. They improved to 8-6 right now. They're in the thick of it in the AFC North Division.
3rd and 1, looks like they get the first. That's Carson Palmer. Well, that should be all she wrote here. One timeout for the Chiefs, down 15-zip and eye-to-eye with a shutout in Oakland. Wow, gotta be diehard fans in this one. Here is a 1st and 10, McFadden. 2-minute warning, Hausberry with the block, and down he goes. Some nice tackling right there. Well, the good news is we're going to take you to that Pittsburgh-Dallas game right after this one, and you can see this is what the NFC playoff picture looks as of now.
Green Bay wins the NFC North Division with a win over the Chicago Bears today. A huge win for Green Bay. They have now swept the Chicago Bears during the 2012 season. Atlanta, I thought, responded big time with a win over the defending Super Bowl champion New York Giants. Answered the question as to how physical they could be. Remember that playoff game where they just took one on the chin against the Giants 1 year ago? I would say they answered a lot of questions with the way they served notice against the Giants today.
Goodson on 2nd down and 11. Chiefs do have a timeout remaining. It's a gain of 2. 27-yard line. 3rd and 9.
Over 200 yards rushing for the Oakland Raiders today. Darren McFadden finished with 110 yards on the ground with 30 carries. Mike Goodson, another 88. I think if you're Dennis Allen, you're really happy. You snap a 6-game losing streak. You win your season finale here at home in front of the home crowd. Now you have to go on the road the next couple of weeks at Carolina, then at San Diego. But got to feel good today with the way his team played.
The tight ends on 3rd and 9. With the run by Goodson and stopped in there at Patoa and Smith at the bottom of the pile at about the 25-yard line. It'll be 4th down. And that means we're finished, I believe. They're going to let the clock go, and that is it. Wow. The Raiders pitch a shutout. Big day for Janikowski. Field goals of 20, 50, 57, 30, and 41. They stop a 6-game losing streak. The Chiefs have lost 10 of 11. That's the story here. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, the home of Super Bowl 47.